If you're watching this video, you should have already watched the first part where we inspected our data and did the reverse coding. If you haven't, please go back and do that. Remember, the data is available in the comments section for download. You can get it there and work through what we're doing along with the video. So once we've reverse coded all the items that need reverse coding, we can then move on to reliability analysis. This checks that all the items within a scale are all measuring the same thing. It basically gives us a metric between 0 and 1 that shows how much items in a scale agree. And we want, obviously, those items to agree very highly. It also allows us to identify which items might be causing problems and get rid of them. So we can have the most reliable scale possible. The metric that we're using is something called Cronbach's alpha, and it simply produces a number between 0 and 1 and then indicates which items might be causing problems so we can remove them. So to do Cronbach's alpha, we go up to Analyze, Scale, Reliability Analysis, and put the items in there. So let's do the Machiavellianism scale first. We put all the Machiavellian items in this box. Then this is very important. We have to click up here on statistics and check this option, scale if item deleted. That isn't checked by default, so you have to check it, otherwise the output isn't as useful. Click continue, click OK. So this tells you a bit about your sample. We know we've got 178 participants. This is our alpha value, so you can see it's 0.791. And then this table tells us which items might be causing problems. Now, normally in psychology, we use an alpha value of 0.7 to be the standard that we want. And you can see here that these items already reach that value. They're above 0.7, 0.791, they're almost 0.8. So we would say that this scale is reliable and we wouldn't need to remove any items. But just for argument's sake, let's see which one we would remove if we wanted to increase the reliability even more. Let's say we wanted to get the reliability as high as possible. What we would do is look through this final column, Cronbach's alpha if item deleted. This is what the Cronbach's alpha will change to if we remove that item. So what we're looking for there is the highest possible number. We want the highest score because we want that to change to that value to try and exceed the one we've already got. So if we look down, we can see if we remove this first item, the alpha will change to 0.787. Now that's no good because that's less than what we've got now, so we wouldn't want to get rid of that item. The next item, if we got rid of it, if we removed it from this analysis, it would change to 0.765. Well, again, that's no good. We've already got a higher value than that, so there's no need to get rid of that item. If we look down, we can see that removing any item would reduce the alpha for our scale to below what we already have. So there's no need to reduce, there's no need to do that. We don't want to reduce the alpha. If anything, we want to increase it. So we know our alpha is reliable with those items. Okay, so that's fine. We're happy with that. Machiavellianism 1 to 9, reliable scale, and we stop. Let's try the next scale. Go to scale reliability item again, and make sure you take your old scale out. Now this is a common mistake for people to put the new items in and leave the old ones. This will cause problems, it won't work. So get rid of those first, and let's put our next scale in. Narcissism, 13 items in there. The option is still ticked from last time, so we don't need to retick it. Click continue and OK. Now you can see here that alpha is even higher than before, which is great. Our alpha value here is 0.852. Okay, that's really good. So that's higher than we need it to be. So again, we didn't need to do anything here. We can stop. We don't need to do anything else. We're happy with that. But just for argument's sake, let's see if we could increase it. If we look down this column, we can see that this item, I know I'm a good person because everyone keeps telling me so. If we took that out of the scale, if we didn't use it, then the alpha would go up a little bit more to 0.856. Okay, so that's slightly higher. So if we were going to get rid of an item, that would be the one to get rid of. If you removed that, then your alpha value would go up. But we don't want to. We want as many items in as possible with the alpha above 0.7. So we've got that now. Let's try the next scale. So we're already doing well with Machiavellianism and narcissism. Let's try the psychopathy scale. Now, that's too low. That's too low. So look, the alpha value here, 0.575, that's below 0.7. That's no good. So an item or items is throwing our scale off. It's ruining it somehow. It's not in line with the others. What that means is that a particular item or items is being answered differently to the other items. And generally, we would expect all items to be answered in the same way. If all the items are measuring psychopathy, then broadly speaking, everyone should pretty much agree with all the items or disagree with the items. The Cronbach's alpha is a bit like a correlation in that sense. It's measuring the reliability between different items. Are they all being answered in the same way? And if it's below 0.7, that suggests at least one item is not being answered in the same way as the others. And so maybe it's not tapping into the same psychological construct as the others, and we might want to get rid of it. So let's have a look in our right hand column and see which one that might be. If we look down here, we can see what the alpha will change to, and you can see that the highest number, so we're always looking for the highest one, is this bottom one. So that one, if we remove that one, the alpha will go up the highest. Okay, so let's do that. So I've never got in trouble before. So we go up here, analyze, scale, reliability, and we'll get rid of that one. I've never got into trouble with the law. Click OK. And there we go, it's gone up. So we knew that. This is our previous go. If we remove that item, the alpha will go up to 0.696. We've done that, and lo and behold, it has 0.696. It's gone up. Now, arguably, you could stop there. You could say if we round that up, it's above 0.7, but I prefer to get the alpha above 0.7 without any rounding. So let's do it again. Let's look down this column, and we can see that the highest number is this one. If we get rid of this item, I avoid dangerous situations, the alpha will go up really high, up to 0.807. So let's just do that, just to do it, to see how it works. I avoid dangerous situations. There we go. So the alpha's up. With these items, the alpha is 0.807, and we've got rid of the other ones. Now, what does that mean when I say get rid of them? Well, in our next step, we're going to aggregate these items into a single score. This person has, participants have responded to 6 items here, but we need a single score for each thing that we're interested in. By get rid of, I mean the items that aren't in this list won't be included in that aggregate. So when we calculate a mean, it's usually a mean, we won't include those items. Now, if you want to take what I say literally, you could go into your data, and we know we got rid of Psycho 2 and Psycho 7. Okay, we got rid of those two. Those were unreliable. They weren't very good items. They messed up our scale, so we wanted to get rid of them. We could actually delete them from this data sheet. We won't use them now because they are unreliable. So if you want to be absolutely sure, you could just hit delete, and it would get rid of them, and that's it. But I prefer not to do that. I just find that deleting things is a bad idea in a data sheet. You never know if you might need to just double check what you've done, and then you've deleted them, and you usually can't undo things very easily in SPSS. So what I would recommend instead is simply write down for each scale which items are reliable. So for our, if we go back up, right back up to the top, also that's right from the first video. So here, on our Machiavellianism scale, all items, fine. Our narcissism scale, all items, fine. Our psychopathy scale, we know that we need to get rid of item 2 and item 7. And then let's finally do our Facebook surveillance scale. So we pop that over there. Here's our Facebook surveillance scale. Click OK. And you can see again, our alpha value is above 0.7. We don't need to do anything for this scale either. So it was just the psychopathy scale that was causing some problems. Some items were unreliable. They weren't in line with the others. They were kind of messing things up. We've identified which items those were. And now, when we move on to the next stage in the next video, we won't use those items. We will ignore those items. And if you wish, you could actually delete them from your data sheet. I'm just simply too nervous to delete things from my data sheet, but you could do if you wanted. So now we know which items are reliable. We need to move on to calculating. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you found this video useful and click on the link to be taken to the next one in this series.